Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us on a new week, on a new episode. Guys, I have a vacation coming up and I am so excited. I have two coming up in a month apart.
Mm-hmm.
I have one coming this month and one in May for my 30th, guys. I am so happy for it, guys. I cannot wait. My wife is not coming on this vacation, not my 30th. She's coming for them because she paid for it. But the one that's this month, she's coming to that one. It's going to be in New Orleans.
I'm not going to that one.
Yeah, she's not, guys, because she has to work and I took off. I kind of invited myself on this vacation. My mom is going for her AKA stuff. And I'm like, Mom, New Orleans, me? I got PTO? Let me go. So I just invited myself. So I'm excited. I've been wanting to go to New Orleans for a long time. So let me know what places should I visit in New Orleans. I'll be there for 5 days. My wife, she's not going to miss me. She's going to be take another trip. My daughter and I will be gone.
Amazing.
Guys, she's not going to miss us. She's going to be oh, guys, you back? Will you miss us?
Maybe.
That's a no. That's a no. She's going to be out with her friends. She's going to be at home. She's going to eat. She's going to be able to watch TV. I ain't going to tell babe, can you do this? Can you do that? No nagging. Man, could I have a vacation away from them too? It's sad that I have to take our daughter because she has to work and her work schedule is it's crazy right now. But if she didn't have to work, she'll watch our daughter for us.
Yes.
But my mom kind of invited her, so it's a whole situation, guys. But that's the next couple of weeks coming up. But you guys will have an episode that week, so don't oh my God, we're not. You are. So calm down. But you know my favorite line. Now let's get into the episode. On Christmas Eve 2004, most families in High Point were settling in for a quiet rhythm of the holidays. Presents were tucked beneath the trees. Ovens were still warm for baking, and homes glowed softly against the winter night. It was a kind of evening built on routine, safe, familiar, predictable. Inside a modest home on a quiet road, a 69-year-old woman was spending the night much the same way. She was alone, moving between the kitchen counter and the stove, preparing food for the next day gathering. Dishes her family expected every year. Deviled eggs, a sweet dessert salad, small traditions that become part of the Christmas itself. She had lived in that house for years. Since losing her husband 2 years earlier, she had remained there by herself, maintaining the life they had built together. The home was quiet now, but not lonely. Her family visited often, and she was looking forward to seeing them the next day. Those who knew her described her as gentle, dependable, the kind of person who spent most time caring for others than herself. She had raised her children, helped with her grandchildren, and rarely missed church. Her life was steady, predictable, and deeply rooted in family. But she was not careless. In fact, after her husband's death, she had become more cautious. She paid attention to unfamiliar cars, she noticed strangers in the neighborhood, and she did not open her door at night unless she knew who was on the other side. That fact will later haunt investigators, because sometime during that quiet Christmas Eve, while the rest of the city slept, someone came into that house, someone she allowed inside. And before morning, that peaceful routine of that home would be replaced by violence so severe that it would become one of the most disturbing unsolved cases the city had ever seen. Before that night, she was not a headline, not a case file, not a mystery. She was simply a mother, a grandmother, and a woman preparing for Christmas. This is the case of Lena Willis. Before she became the victim of the High Point most brutal unsolved killing, Lena Willis was simply known as a caregiver, a mother, and a woman who was devoted most of her life to looking after people. She was born on December 9th, 1935, in North Carolina, during the tail end of the Great Depression. Like many children growing up in a rural North Carolina at the time, Lena was raised in a working-class household where her family ties were strong and hard work was expected in early life. Those who knew her described her as gentle, patient, and deeply loved. She grew up surrounded by family members who would carry that sense of closeness into adulthood. As a young woman, Lena married and started a family of her own. She had children, stepchildren, and eventually grandchildren, a large blended family who will remain central to her identity for the rest of her life. In 1969, she moved to High Point, a city known for a tight-knit neighborhood where people knew everyone. There she worked at the mill for many years before retiring in 1989. But retirement didn't slow her down. If anything, Lena stayed busy doing what she loved most, caring for her children. Family members said she spent most of her adulthood babysitting, helping, and supporting others in her community. She was also active in her church, Green Street Baptist, and was known as someone people could depend on. By all accounts, she was not a risk taker. She lived a quiet life. Lena's husband, Paul, died in January of 2002. After his death, she remained in their house they had shared, a modest one-story home. Living alone was a big adjustment. Neighbors noticed she became more cautious, especially about strangers in the area. If she saw unfamiliar people walking through the neighborhood, she sometimes alerted others. She locked her door and paid attention to who came around. But she wasn't isolated. Her family visited all the time, especially around holidays, and Christmas was one of her favorite times of the year. On the evening of December 24th, 2004, the quiet neighborhood in High Point looked much like any other Christmas Eve. Porch lights glowed, TVs flickered behind curtains, and families settled in for the night after finishing last-minute preparations for the holidays. Inside her modest one-story home, a 69-year-old woman, Lena, was doing what she had done for decades, getting ready to host her family. Lena had always been the kind of person who showed love through food. She wanted everything to be just right for Christmas Day. In her kitchen, she prepared 2 dishes her family had come to expect every year: deviled eggs and a dessert salad. It was a simple holiday cooking, the kind done out of habit and tradition. The house was quiet since her husband died 2 years earlier. Lena lived alone, but she wasn't lonely. Her children, stepchildren, and grandchildren visit often, and she was looking forward to seeing them all the next day. At around 9:30 p.m., her 17-year-old step-granddaughter stopped by to exchange gifts. It was not an unusual visit. Family members came over all the time, especially during the holidays. The teenager later recalled that nothing seemed out of place. Lena appeared relaxed, alert, and in good spirits. She was busy in the kitchen, talking casually while she worked, focusing on getting everything ready for the next gathering. The visit only lasted a few minutes. They exchanged presents, spoke briefly, and said goodbyes. When the teenager left, Lena was still alive, unharmed, and continued her preparations. No one could have imagined that this would be the last confirmed sighting of her alive. Sometime later that night, investigators believe, likely before midnight, another person arrived at Lena's home. Unlike the early visit, there is no witnesses, no confirmed timeline, and no records of who it was. Police have found no sign of forced entry. Windows were intact. Doors were undamaged. Nothing suggested someone had broken in. The back door, however, which opened directly to the kitchen where Lena had been cooking, was unlocked. Family members insisted that Lena would not have opened her door to a stranger at night. Since becoming a widow, she had grown cautious and alert about unfamiliar people in the neighborhood. Because of that, investigators had long believed that whoever came to the house that night was someone Lena either knew personally or believed she could have trusted. What happened once that person entered the house remains unknown. There was no witnesses, no security cameras. But the aftermath left no doubt. The encounter turned violent, extremely violent.
Late the next morning at approximately 11:30 a.m. on Christmas Day, Lena's daughter Vicky arrived at the house with her husband and their young children. They were there to pick up Lena so she could spend the holiday with the family. Vicky had tried calling beforehand, but there was no answer. That alone didn't immediately raise an alarm. Lena could have been in another room or busy getting ready. But when they pulled into the driveway, something felt off. The house looked dark. The blinds were still drawn. Unusual for a late morning. No lights were on. No television could be heard. No movement was visible inside. Vicky knocked on the door several times. There was no response. Concerned that her mother might have fallen or suffered a medical emergency, she used her spare key to let herself in. The silence inside was unsettling. She began walking through the home, calling out for her mother, expecting to find her resting in the bathroom or possibly injured. Instead, she discovered Lena in the bedroom. She was lying on the floor, motionless. When Vicky touched her, she immediately realized something was terribly wrong. Lena's body was cold. At first, she believed her mother had died of natural causes, a heart attack or stroke. Then she noticed the knife on the floor nearby. In that moment, it became clear this was not a medical emergency. Vicky screamed. Her husband rushed inside and quickly called 911. Outside, their children waited in the car, unaware that their Christmas celebration had just turned into a tragedy. An autopsy later revealed the extent of the violence. Lena had been stabbed 36 times. The weapon used was a large kitchen knife taken from her own home, found lying beside her body. Despite the brutality of the attack, the house did not appear ransacked. Furniture was not overturned, and valuables were largely untouched. Only 2 items were reported missing: 2 VCR players. Investigators considered robbery as a possible motive, but the sheer number of stab wounds suggested something more intense, possibly rage, panic, or a deeply personal confrontation. Some investigators believe Lena may have fought back. As police canvassed the neighborhood, attention eventually focused on a man living nearby who had reportedly formed a friendly relationship with Lena after her husband's death. According to accounts shared with the family by neighbors, the man left his home at around 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve. He did not return until the following morning. When he came back, he was allegedly wearing different clothing. Some neighbors claimed he burned items in his yard that night. Others reported seeing cuts on his hands and arms. Around that time, however, these claims were not sustained as physical evidence. Police interviewed the man and administered a polygraph test. The results were inconclusive. Without forensic evidence tying him to the crime scene, investigators had no legal grounds to arrest him. The suspicion remained, but proof did not. Investigators collected fingerprints and DNA from the home, hoping modern forensic testing would identify the killer, but no match was found. As technology improved over the years, the evidence was re-examined more than once. Each time, results were described as inconclusive. Without new leads, the investigation stalled. The case was reopened on multiple occasions, then closed again when no progress could be made. Eventually, it was classified as inactive, meaning it could be revisited if new evidence or information emerges. For Lena's family, Christmas has never been the same. Every holiday season brings back memories of that morning, not just the loss, but the unanswered questions. They remembered Lena as a woman who cared deeply for others, who cooked for gatherings, who stayed connected to her family, and who looked forward to the holidays. The daughter who discovered her body had spoken about choosing forgiveness as a way to cope with the trauma, even though the person responsible has never been identified. More than 2 decades later, the murder of Lena Willis remains unsolved. No arrest, no confirmed suspect, no clear motive. Someone entered her home on Christmas Eve, 2004. Someone used her own kitchen knife. Someone left her there and walked away. And that person has not been held accountable. Tonight, a chair at the Christmas table is still empty. More than 20 years later, the family of Lena Willis doesn't just remember how she died. They remember how she lived, a mother, a grandmother, a woman who showed love in simple ways. Through meals, through visits, through being there when people needed her. Every holiday season brings the same painful reminder. While most families celebrate, they relive the morning that changed their lives forever. The drive to her home, the silence inside, the moment they realized she wasn't coming with them after all. Someone took that from them. Someone walked into her home in High Point on a night meant for peace and left behind a wound that never truly healed. No arrest, no answers, no justice. But Lena is not just a case file. She is a person who was loved deeply and is still missed every single day. If someone out there knows something, no matter how small it may seem, that information can finally give her family the closure they've been waiting decades for. Cold cases are only cold until someone speaks, because somewhere, someone knows what happened on Christmas Eve, 2004. And until the truth comes out, the story of Lena Willis is not over. This is the case of Lena Willis. Now let's get into some theories.
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Go ahead.
Man, this is the first time I ever have to say I'm kind of stuck on who may it be. I have no idea. It might be somebody she knows, because she was very cautious. And they said she would not open the door. Like, she was, like, looking out the window. I feel like later on, like, if she was, like, around our time, she probably had security cameras everywhere. She probably had a Ring doorbell. She probably was so high-tech of making sure whoever came by her house, she would have saw. Like, but guys, I'm stuck. I'm trying to figure out. Only person I can figure out is somebody that she knows that, like, her granddaughter said that she was cooking in the kitchen. She was trying to get everything ready. And they said the back door was unlocked. And it connected to her kitchen. So probably the person saw that she was still cooking. They came through the back door like, hey, let me in. And she did, because she knew them. That's all I got. I don't know why they got into an argument and how. Like, to me, it's like, why was she in her bedroom, though? Like, did they make her go and get her jewelry, but they said the jewelry wasn't, was still there? Was her money missing, but they said that was still there? So it's like, every idea I have is like, I can't say it's possible, because they only stole VCRs. So I'm like, if I'm sorry to say this, but if I'm gonna kill somebody and I'm doing it for money or like for money, I'm gonna get the money and jewelry. I'm gonna get some stuff that I need. I just killed this person, but then also this person left the knife. So to me, this person didn't come to kill her because they didn't bring nothing with them. They used her knife and everything. So like you didn't come. They came for a reason to get something that they wanted. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm stuck. Like this is a case I have to say like, dang, police, I'm stuck with you guys because I have nobody that I can think of. The guy they said that left at 11 p.m. and came back the next day with different clothes. I'm like, he probably went over his girlfriend's house. Like, leave him alone. Like, that's why he had different clothes on. It's Christmas Eve. He was with his boo thing.
The only thing that I can think of is, okay,
Mm-hmm.
a VCR, it contains, or it could have contained like tapes or something. What if she had information on somebody
Mm-hmm.
and back then she recorded it? That's the only thing. I mean, they're not going to know about any missing tapes if they're not there, but 2 VCRs, unless it was just somebody like a junkie or somebody trying to get their necks fixed, trying to pawn something. But like you said, it doesn't make sense because they probably would have gone for the high-end items.
That was stole more.
So the only other thing is, what if she had information on somebody else, on tapes? They took the VCRs, so it wouldn't really seem like they took tapes. I don't know.
Because she was watching the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, I'm going to say this, I wonder if she had like a little notebook or something like that. Because if she was watching the neighborhood like that, she probably was taking down license plates, people descriptions. She probably had documentation of what was going on in her neighborhood. Because she knew she was watching the neighborhood. Like, she knew who was there and who wasn't there. If she did see something that she wasn't supposed to see, but I'm like, knowing how cautious she would have called the police. That's what I'm saying. Like,
unless she came across some information she wasn't ready to process. Like she was just sitting on it and just kind of seeing how it would play out. But I mean, that's the only other thing that I can think of is she had information on somebody.
Yeah, I'm stuck too. Like, this is the first case I have to say, like, I'm actually stuck. Because it just, I feel like every case we do, like, you can kind of see why this person was unalive, or you could try to picture it a little bit. But this one, I'm like,
I mean, and I can also see the suspect, the neighbor, because he disappeared at a certain time. He had different clothes. He was burning something, trying to get rid of evidence. I don't know what the motive would have been for him.
Right, but only thing is, like, what if he was just a good neighbor? Like, he saw, like, oh, this old lady staying by herself. Her husband just died.
But you're burning stuff.
Well, that's what the neighbor says. Sometimes neighbors will, like, oh, like, I saw this. Sometimes they will make up stories to, But only thing is, like, neighbors say, oh, yeah, we saw marks all over his body. But the police said it wasn't no marks and stuff. So it's like, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. That's what I'm saying. Like, it could be the neighbor, but they had DNA and fingerprints. So his fingerprints and DNA would have been somewhere on that crime scene. Well, guys, we're stuck. Like, if you have any theories, please put it in the comments below. I want to hear because I have nothing. I have no theories of what. Like, I'm stuck. And I feel like that's the first time we have ever been stuck. Like, usually we can bounce ideas off each other, but we have nothing. Well, that's our case, guys. If you have any information, please contact the police because they need it. Shoot, we need it. We all need it. We're on all podcast platforms. We're on YouTube. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating. Guys, I cannot wait to hear your theories on what you think may have happened to her. This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
Don't forget, everybody's a suspect.
So proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, Lesbian Detectives, Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.